we should get onto our color.
We should. Okay, so we have got Allison from Canada, medication and how it affects appetite. Allison, just remember, please don't say the names of the medications you're on. You're on with Ethan and Jenna.
Hi, Ethan and Jenna. How are you?
Good. Yourself?
Pretty good.
I'm actually doing very, very good this morning. I'm really happy to do that.
I am happy to hear that.
I woke up. I slept last night. I woke up before my alarm clock. I took my meds. They're just actually starting to kick in. So if I have a bit of a quiver and I talk a little too fast, that's why. That's the ADHD meds and antidepressants.
Don't apologize for being whatever you are.
Yeah. So on very, very quick before I forget, Ethan, I wanted to apologize for Thursday night when I was talking to you and Hannah on the pickup line. I know Hannah and I got a little bit graphic, and I wanted to apologize for that.
You're good. Thank you.
If you feel uncomfortable about it, maybe you could say disclaimer next time. But
yeah, that's one thing.
It was more of a trigger warning. Oops, we forgot to say trigger warning beforehand.
I realized
totally good. Okay, good. I realized that part of it is just like I've been through so much and I've normalized it in my head because it was kind of normalized around like with the people I hung out with and stuff. So it's like I can disclose something, not even realize that it's not a normal thing for everybody. And not say, oh, hey, trigger warning beforehand. It's like really desensitized kind of thing. So like that call the other night helped me realize that. It's just like, holy cow, like my normal is definitely not like anybody else's normal. Like I know that we're all different, but that's just something that I realized the other night that I wanted to say before I forgot.
Oh no, you're fine. So, but let's bring it back to the medication. You wanted to talk about mental health. You wanted to talk about medication and how it affects your appetite and sleep. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's very accurate. I guess we'll cover the eating first.
Sure.
The ADHD medication really affects my appetite to the point where I'm almost repulsed by food. Like I just am not interested. I would rather be doing anything else other than eating. And that's like even the stuff that I love normally. It's just really hard to eat when I'm not enthusiastic. Like I want to eat and be like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And I want to enjoy my food. And when the medication is in effect, I have a very hard time just enjoying the food that I'm eating.
May I ask? Are you trying to eat your standard, American or 3 meals a day, or are you trying to do like the 5 and more smaller grazing throughout the day kind of thing?
Typically, like I try to graze, and it's just really difficult.
Well, the reason I ask is because it seems to me that with appetite, because I struggle with appetite too. Actually, before I got pregnant, I was struggling with being underweight. And what would happen is I look at a big meal and it would just be basically kind of imagine it in my stomach. I'm like, that doesn't fit, and so it would just repulse me. But if I would eat like nuts throughout the day, or like an apple here and there, you know, if I would eat much smaller amounts, then it was much easier to manage. And that's the only reason I ask.
I similar to you, Allison, it was just like the idea, like you could be hungry, but the idea of food was just like, bleh, like you really couldn't eat. And kind of what Jenna said is I actually had to just force myself to snack more often, like small things like, you know, apples, oatmeal, just any little thing I could. But at times I'd go, you know, all day with just eating one meal. And, you know, I'm a person that eats like 6 to 8 times a day. So that is one of the downfalls to the previous medications I've taken. That plus there are other side effects. Anyways, continue.
Yes. Like, for example, this morning I got up, I turned on my computer, got my breakfast together, which is like, it's granola, and I throw some chocolate, dark chocolate almond milk in there and some frozen strawberries on top. And usually I just devour it and everything's good. But this morning it started to kick in, and then I was like, you know what? I don't feel like eating this anymore. So I put it, I wrapped it up and put it in the fridge.
So it's a moment to moment kind of thing.
Dropped off.
So like you could eat before you took the medication?
Yes, I try to. Otherwise, I feel hungry, but the idea of eating is just like yuck, like what Ethan was saying.
Right. But so do you take it once a day, and then it's like at the very beginning of the day before you take the medication, you're hungry, so you can eat. So then if you take advantage of that, then you get at least that one meal. Is it like for the rest of the day you're not hungry, or is it like there's waves, like you have to take it again and there's a gap where you could eat again? Which is it for you?
Unfortunately, no, there's no gap. It's usually about 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours. It goes by, and I don't even think about food.
Have you looked into so if those 8 hours of the day are basically not really an option for you to eat, I wonder if you've looked into like 8-hour fasts and how those people do it? Because I know that there's people who fast a lot, and somehow, I don't know how, but they somehow get all their nutrition. I believe. I haven't really looked into it. That's why I asked. Yeah, maybe look into that and let us know what you find.
Yeah, either fasting or doing like drinking a big shake or something. Like
yes, the hydration is a big part. Like you can sneak it in with like a smoothie. It's like a drink, but it's got nutrition in it.
Because I can drink things throughout the day when the medication is in full swing.
There you go. So soup maybe too.
I drink lots of water because I get cotton mouth with the meds too. So that's
the worst.
So maybe
it's worth a try. I'm not trying to promote anything, just shooting out ideas of possibilities. I don't know how reasonable that is.
I appreciate that. Because right now I'm dealing with it by smoking marijuana.
Because it makes you hungry, yeah. Well, there was a lady that I worked with for a little bit, and she is a Muslim, and she was about to start Ramadan, and she talked about how they wouldn't eat while the sun was up. And I was like, that can't be good for you. I was like, how is that good? Like, that can't be good for your body. And I actually did a little bit of research on it with her. And I was like, well, it actually turns out it might not be that bad for you if you do it correctly, if you make sure that you get enough nutrition in between and the correct kind. But it actually isn't that bad for you to fast.
No, you, again, as Jenna said, though, be responsible and mindful of how you're doing it. Just don't do whatever. Take your time to look into the best and healthiest way to fast, because you also want to make sure you're getting all the nutrients you need.
A food diary might help with that.
Yes. So real quick, trigger warning. I'm going to show a photo on the screen real quick. I made that last night.
Trigger warning.
We're talking about food, and I just wanted to show off the delicious meal I made. Those are 2 New York strips topped with butter, garlic, rosemary. Whew! It was so good.
Oh,
That's awesome.
Sorry. Continue, Allison. But all this talking about food, I wanted to show off the delicious meal I made yesterday. But that's the other thing with these medications is staying hydrated is crucial. Like, make sure you are getting the liquids you need, because like the ADHD medication for me didn't only suppress my appetite, it made me less thirsty. So I'd actually have to force myself to drink water.
And there are a lot of medications that will dehydrate you. And I mean, let's see, expectorants, I know for sure that's not even like a prescription drug. That's just like for allergies is an expectorant. So like if you're like Mucinex or something like that. I'm not trying to name things. Please, let's cut that out later if we can. But like an expectorant will dry you up. And so if you're taking that every day, like some people will because they have really bad allergies,
right,
make sure you're drinking water. And then if you're taking medication, like prescription meds with that, you never know how that, just keep notes, talk to your doctor, be honest. Okay, so you wanted to talk about sleep too, though, right? Allison, sorry.
Sorry, Jenna, what?
I'm sorry, I kind of abruptly changed. But I just saw, I was like, oh yeah, sleep. And we didn't have a whole lot of time left.
I would, love to talk about sleep.
Yeah. I just had a sleep test done. Finally, I got in with the sleep clinic. So I'm awaiting the results on that.
Oh, cool.
I've had extreme difficulty sleeping.
Do you mind if I ask what they did for the test?
I don't have a schedule. Sorry?
I was just asking you if while you bring us along on your journey, if you could describe what they do for the test. I'm curious. What do they do?
Oh, it's they give you a little machine to take home, and you just hook it all up to yourself. There's the main little. Oh my gosh, there's like a few little sensors on the band that you put around yourself, and then there's the main little unit that you put around yourself, like around your abdomen. My meds are really kicking in, so it's making me hard to explain things right now.
Oh, sorry. Okay, well then we can skip that and we can continue on to if you want.
That's okay. So you just hook everything up in there, and then there's a little sensor, a little thing that you put in your nose, on your nose, like an oxygen thing. And then there's a thing that you put on your finger, and then you sleep with that all hooked on. So, and I actually got a solid 9 hours in. I was afraid that I wasn't going to sleep enough, but I got 9 hours in, which is really good. And
9 hours.
I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the results now, so that was good. And the reason I brought up sleep is because it really, it's made it hard for me to take my medication on time every day, because I will sleep past the time that I take it, for hours.
So you'll miss a dose.
Sometimes. Sorry?
So you'll miss a dose.
Yes. And sometimes I'll get stuck where it's to the point where I'm waking up in the evening time and I'm like, do I take my medication or do I just miss a dose? And because when I'm not taking my medication, I feel like more tired. I don't get much done, but I can eat. So I take advantage of it by eating the way I'm supposed to. I'll eat 5 times a day, just little bits.
Right.
And so that's good, but then I'm missing the medication. And sometimes it got to the point where it was 6 days in a row I'd miss it. And I do not recommend that. Do not do that. I did not feel good. It was almost like I could feel this and that, like the little firings in my brain. Sometimes it was like I'd be sitting here and I'm like, oh my gosh, should I just take it right now, even though it's 11 o'clock at night? You know, so.
Have you asked your doctor?
Yeah, I'm on the waiting list for a psychiatrist, and it's actually the psychiatrist who originally diagnosed me with ADHD and put me on the medication. So I'm really excited.
Wait, so you're saying that you're on a medication and you don't currently have a doctor that is regulating that?
Yeah.
How?
That's
where are you getting the medication
reality. From? Like I'm seeing a community like health service. So and working with a nurse practitioner.
Oh wow. Is it the same nurse practitioner or is it just whoever's there that day?
It's a nurse practitioner. Like this is actually, I'm gonna go, I have an appointment the day after tomorrow to see them, and I'm gonna meet the new nurse practitioner I'm with.
Okay.
But up until this point, you've been seeing the same person, is what I'm wondering.
No, well, like for the nurse practitioner, no, I'm going to be seeing a new person.
Oh, hold on. This is mind-blowing. That it sounds like they're just kind of footballing your chart around.
Right.
Like that. This is.
Oh yeah, that's
concerning to me. I don't know if it should be concerning, but something's giving me a bad feeling. I really hope that you find a reliable, steady doctor that you can work with, because every doctor has their own idea of what the best way to do something is. And so each time your chart changes hands, I can imagine them wanting to go a different direction. I just can't.
I think the one recommendation I would make, and I don't know, one, oftentimes it's good to get a second or third opinion, but doctors, for me, one of my red flags is if they're ones that just immediately turn to wanting to prescribe you a medication rather than first like offering possible techniques to improve your life. And that's
lifestyle changes. Yeah,
exactly. Like that's one thing I love about Dr. Mike. He's a YouTuber, but he's always, pushing like natural means in addition to, obviously he's a doctor, he'll prescribe, but he's pushing homeopathic and naturalistic medication first.
I thought that homeopathic
was not homeopathic. Oh, sorry, not holistic.
Okay,
not homeopathy.
I was like,
No, thank you for catching that. I do not support homeopathy. Okay. Oh, that was close.
Well, so I guess, I mean, again, this is coming from the layman. So obviously we don't know why doctors do what they do. We are not doctors by any means.
No.
It could end up being a better thing that you have a team of people that are tackling your situation. All that I ask is that you at least be aware of that and at least try to take notes on whether or not that is helping or hurting you from your own perspective.
Oh, yeah. I guess I need to explain it a little bit more. Okay. So, like I've been struggling my whole life, and I struggled to find a doctor who would listen, who would understand, and who would not just like put pills, prescribe pills and send you on your way and not do any kind of follow up or anything like that. I kept encountering doctors like that, and they prescribed me a medication. I would try it and I'd have very bad side effects. So I would just stop it. And then I'd be like, okay, I don't want to see that doctor anymore. And I would try another one. And mostly it was walk-in clinics. And this was like throughout my teen years and up to my adulthood. And then in 2015, I had just like reached my, like I was at at my wit's end. I didn't know what to do anymore. So I went to the hospital and I told them that I was suicidal. Sorry, trigger warning. I told them that I was suicidal, and I told them what I was thinking and stuff, because the ideation was very, very high. Like I wasn't actually making plans or to do anything, but the ideation part was very high. So they said that they're like, okay, we think that you would respond well to CBT in our psychiatric unit. Here's an appointment. And then they sent me home. And so then I went into the hospital, into the psychiatric unit. And that's when I met the psychiatrist. He diagnosed me with ADHD like right away. So I started on the medication. And I noticed an immediate improvement. So I knew that I was on the right path. So I was working with the psychiatrist, but because it was a free program and the waiting list was huge, and there were people that had been waiting for like a year, 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Okay, we stabilized you. We have to let you go. So I was there for 6 months, and they're like, okay, you're ready to work. And I'm like, oh my God, no, I'm not ready to work at all. I can't. So I tried to work, failed miserably. And then I was referred for the psychoeducational assessment.
I remember, I think you called right after you did that.
Yeah, I did a bunch of tests. I spoke to a psychologist. And she put it all together, and she worded it so I would be able to get on the financial assistance for where I live. And then I got all of the rest of the diagnoses, including nonverbal learning disability, which I had never heard of. And that comes with like visual spatial deficits, like I guess and motor coordination's a problem, and then subtle, like visual, like there's a lot of visual issues, and perception with like conversations, body language, things like that, because I perceive everything in a very verbal way. So we were talking in the comments earlier about talking to yourself and constantly talking, and that is how I process everything. That's how my brain processes the environment. So I was the kid who was constantly talking to myself in class, getting in trouble for being interruptive when all I was doing was trying to learn.
And that's
so that was a huge eye opener,
right?
And then and then I was diagnosed with depression.
You're giving us a lot to unpack here, and we only have just like another moment or two, and then we wrap up. But when you say about like talking to yourself, I completely understand that. Like I do that all the time. I'll have full conversations that'll start coming out loud. Like the other day, my nephew's like, "Who are you talking to?" And I was like, "Oh my God!" Like. It's just like you start blurting stuff out. You have these practice conversations in your head, or you just have to like talk it out with yourself. And it's to other people that can seem really weird. Like I know there's been times I'm like the summer windows down and I'm talking to myself in the car and I look over and someone's staring at me and I'm just like, yeah, but we operate very differently and process information differently. So you are definitely not alone. Jenna, anything else I missed on this?
Honestly, I wish we had a whole nother half hour.
Great, because that was a lot.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We're learning, Allison, really quick that we're learning a lot about you over time, and so hopefully, would it be possible? Our next topic is going to be about what was it? Money. Mental health and money. I wonder if you might have anything that you want to call in and kind of add to, so we can kind of continue this conversation on like next week.
Oh,
Right.
Oh my God, yes.
Okay.
Yes. My finances. Oh yeah, mental.
It's-
like not being able to be able to work, like, and
Yeah,
one
that's
thing
the boat I'm in
I
right now.
had- one
Well,
thing-
sorry, Allison, I'm so sorry, but we
Sorry, I didn't mean to get you all excited about it
so out of
already.
time. But yeah, if you want to call back next week, we're here every week at 11 a.m. Thank
We'd
you
love
so
to
much for
continue.
taking the time to call in.
Thank you, Allison.
You're very welcome.
Have a good one.
I enjoyed the conversation as always.
Thank
Me
you.
too. We'll talk to you soon.